Picture this. You're at Target for toothpaste. 1 hour later, cart full of candles, throw pillows, and an inflatable unicorn pool float. How did this happen? Again? That wasn't you making those decisions. That was your brain toddler, the impulsive 3-year-old living rent-free in your head who makes 95% of your daily choices while you think you're the adult in charge. Daniel Kahneman discovered we all have two systems running our minds. System 1, I call it Brain Toddler, fast, emotional, grabbing every shiny object in sight. And System 2, your brain CEO, slow, logical, but usually asleep at the wheel. Here's the test. What's 2 plus 2? Instant answer, right? That's Brain Toddler showing off. Now try 17 x 24. Feel that mental grinding? That's your brain CEO waking up grumpy from a nap. The problem isn't that Brain Toddler exists. We need those fast instincts to survive. It's that this little chaos agent is driving your life while you think you're being rational. Late-night Amazon spree? Brain Toddler with your credit card. Texting your ex at 2 a.m.? Brain Toddler found your phone. Starting another hobby you'll quit in 3 weeks? Brain Toddler wants to play. But here's the game changer. Once you start noticing when Brain Toddler grabs the wheel, you can gently say, "Thanks, buddy, but the grown-up needs to handle this one." That tiny pause between impulse and action, that's where better decisions, healthier habits, and your actual goals live. It's not about silencing Brain Toddler. It's about knowing when to let it play and when to call in the adult supervision. Section 2. The temperature of your thoughts. A courtroom in Israel. Same judge, same type of parole cases, wildly different outcomes. Researchers discovered the shocking pattern: prisoners who appeared right after the judge's meal had a 65% chance of parole, while those who came right before lunch dropped to nearly 0%. A sandwich literally determined years of someone's freedom. Your brain toddler doesn't make decisions in a vacuum. It's constantly reacting to invisible puppet strings, room temperature, background music, how heavy your coffee mug feels, even the color of the walls. Scientists proved this with the hot coffee experiment. People holding warm drinks rated strangers as warmer and friendlier than those holding iced coffee. Same stranger, different temperature, completely different judgment. Your brain toddler literally can't tell the difference between physical warmth and emotional warmth. This is priming in action, and it's everywhere. Why do hospitals paint walls certain colors? They know calm brain toddlers make better decisions. Why do casinos pump oxygen and avoid windows? Alert brain toddlers spend more money. Why do car salespeople offer you coffee and snacks? Fed brain toddlers say yes easier. That important conversation you're planning? Your brain toddler's response will depend less on your words and more on whether they're hungry, cold, or sitting in an uncomfortable chair. Before any big decision, do the environment audit. What happened in the last hour that might be influencing your toddler? Are you making a life choice, or is your blood sugar making it for you? Section 3. Your inner fortune teller is a fraud. I can always tell when someone's lying, Marcus insisted at the dinner party. 3 months later, his business partner emptied their company account and fled to Bermuda. Marcus's perfect lie detector hadn't even twitched. Your brain toddler loves playing psychic, taking random patterns and declaring them mystical wisdom. Someone reminds you of your favorite teacher. Brain toddler screams, "Trustworthy." They laugh differently than you expected? Something's off. Danger. But here's the kicker. Good intuition and bad intuition feel exactly the same. Both come with that tingly, I just know sensation that makes brain toddler dance with certainty. Real intuition only works under 2 conditions. You've had years of quality feedback, like a nurse who's seen thousands of patients, or the environment is stable and predictable. Chess, not cryptocurrency. For everything else, dating, hiring, big life choices, your intuition is just brain toddler wearing a wizard hat and making stuff up. A study of parole officers who claimed they could read criminals found their intuitions performed worse than a simple checklist. Experienced teachers who were certain about which students would succeed we're wrong more than half the time. Your gut feeling isn't wisdom. It's pattern matching gone wild. Feel it, acknowledge it, then fact-check it. When Brain Toddler whispers, "I have a feeling," ask, based on what exactly? Watch it struggle to explain. That's your cue to slow down and use actual evidence instead of mystical vibes. Section 4. The price tag hypnosis. 2 restaurants. Same pasta dish. Restaurant A lists it at $18. Restaurant B shows market price $32, special today, $18. Guess which one people rated as tasting better? The discounted one, every time. Welcome to anchoring, where your brain toddler grabs the first number it sees like a security blanket and judges everything else against it. Scientists proved this with a rigged wheel showing random numbers, then asking, "What percentage of UN countries are African?" When the wheel showed 10, people guessed 25%. When it showed 65, they guessed 45%. A completely random wheel changed answers by 20%. This is why salary negotiations start with ranges. We're thinking 40-60K makes 50K feel reasonable when they'd pay 70K. Why real estate agents show you the mansion before the house you can afford. And why restaurants list that $200 lobster nobody orders makes the $45 steak seem modest. Your brain toddler doesn't compare prices to value. It compares them to whatever number it saw first. Online shopping makes this worse. Original price that never existed. Limited time offers creating false urgency. Comparing to competitor prices you can't verify. The antidote? Before looking at any prices, ask yourself what something is worth to you. Cover prices when browsing. Make your decision first, then peek. Watch how different your reasonable price is from what Brain Toddler would accept after being anchored. Section 5. The Wikipedia in your head meet Dr. Chen at a medical conference. You learn 3 things. She went to Johns Hopkins. She drives a motorcycle. She volunteers at animal shelters. Your brain toddler immediately writes her complete biography, brilliant surgeon. Risk taker but has a soft side. Probably saves lives by day, rides into sunsets by night. Definitely someone to trust. But you're missing. She graduated bottom of her class. The motorcycle belongs to her roommate. She's terrified of driving. She volunteered once for community service hours. Your brain toddler just turned 3 random facts into a Netflix series. This is WYSIATI. What you see is all there is. Your inner toddler hates incomplete information, like it hates vegetables, so it fills every gap with imagination. Dating app says entrepreneur. Brain toddler sees successful innovator not sells MLM supplements. Coworker arrives late once. Unreliable person not kid was sick. News headline about crime increase. City is dangerous not went from 2 incidents to 3. The most dangerous part? Once Brain Toddler writes the story, it actively ignores contradicting evidence. That lazy coworker who stays late every night? Brain Toddler dismisses it showing off. The dating app entrepreneur who can't pay for dinner? Temporary cash flow issue. Your mind prefers complete fiction over incomplete truth. The defense? When forming opinions, ask, what am I not seeing? List what you actually know versus what you've concluded. The gap between those lists? That's where expensive mistakes throw parties. Section 6. The Hoarding Hearts Club. Lisa stares at her overflowing garage. Broken exercise bike from 2012. Her daughter's crib. Daughter is now 22. Boxes labeled might need someday that haven't been opened since Obama's first term. But what if I need them? Her brain toddler whimpers. She won't. She knows she won't. But letting go feels like losing part of herself. Welcome to loss aversion, where your brain toddler experiences losing something twice as intensely as gaining it. Losing $20 hurts more than finding $20 feels good. Getting rid of unused items feels like amputation. Leaving a mediocre relationship feels scarier than staying miserable. This isn't about the stuff, it's about identity. If I throw away these art supplies, I'm admitting I'm not creative anymore. If I leave this book club, I'm not an intellectual. If I cancel this gym membership, I've given up on fitness. Your brain toddler isn't hoarding objects. It's hoarding versions of who you used to be or thought you'd become. The freedom comes from reframing. That unused guitar isn't failure, it's discovery. You learned you prefer listening to playing. That ended friendship isn't loss, it's growth. You outgrew each other. That career change isn't giving up, it's evolving. Start small, delete one app, donate one item, cancel one commitment. Notice the sky doesn't fall. Your identity doesn't crumble. You just have more space for who you're becoming instead of who you used to be. Section 7. The blame game. Your brain loves. My mother-in-law ruins everything, Jennifer muttered after another tense family dinner. She's so critical and controlling. Meanwhile, Jennifer's mother-in-law tells her friends, Jennifer is so defensive and hostile. I can't say anything right. Both are describing the same dinners, but their brain toddlers are playing different movies. When Jennifer snaps, her brain toddler explains anyone would react this way to such criticism. When mother-in-law makes a comment, her brain toddler says, just trying to help. But flip it when mother-in-law seems harsh. Jennifer's brain toddler declares, she's a critical person. When Jennifer seems defensive, mother-in-law's brain toddler concludes, she's oversensitive. This is attribution bias, your brain toddler's favorite double standard, where you get context and excuses but others get character judgments. You cut someone off in traffic? I'm late for something important. They cut you off? Selfish jerk with no regard for others. Your kid has a meltdown? They're tired. Other kid melts down. Poor parenting. This bias is destroying your relationships because you're judging your own actions by your intentions, but others' actions by the impact on you. Your partner forgets to call? Your brain toddler says doesn't care, not got overwhelmed? Your friend cancels plans? I'm not a priority, not they're struggling. The antidote? Next time you're building a case against someone, ask, how would I explain this if I did it? That gap between your explanation and your judgment. That's where empathy lives. Section 8. Why your weekend vanishes. Just gonna quickly organize the photos on my phone, David announced Saturday morning. It's now Sunday night. He's in the year 2019, having watched 47 videos of his kids, created 12 albums he'll never look at again, and discovered photos from a vacation he forgot he took. The weekend? Gone. The photos from last month? Still unorganized. Your brain toddler can't estimate time because it lives in a fantasy where you work at peak efficiency with zero interruptions, infinite energy, and no emotional detours. Clean the garage sounds simple until finding your high school yearbook, 2-hour nostalgia trip, deciding you need a better system, 3-hour container store adventure, argument about what to keep, relationship counseling preview, discovering mice evidence, full panic spiral. Sydney Opera House was supposed to take 4 years and $7 million. Took 14 years and $102 million. If projects with professional planners can't escape time blindness, your weekend warrior dreams are doomed. Why? Brain toddler plans like you're a robot, not a human who gets hungry, distracted, and overwhelmed. It forgets 80% of required steps, assumes best-case scenarios, and definitely doesn't account for the existential crisis you'll have halfway through. Why do I own so much stuff? The reality planning system. Triple brain toddler's estimate. Then add 40% chaos tax. List every micro step. Buying supplies counts. Plan like future you who's tired, not current you who's caffeinated. And when it takes longer, that's not failure. That's normal. Section 9. The danger of being sure. Dr. Williams had practiced medicine for 30 years. Trust me, she said, dismissing the younger doctor's concern. I've seen this 1,000 times. It's just anxiety. The patient had a heart condition that almost killed them 2 weeks later. Expertise made Dr. Williams blind, not wise. This is overconfidence. When your brain toddler confuses experience with omniscience. The scariest part? The more you know about something, the more your brain toddler assumes you know everything about it. Surgeons become overconfident about investments. Teachers become overconfident about parenting. Everyone becomes overconfident about their own brain. Studies show the most confident experts are often the least accurate. Weather forecasters who say 90% chance are right about 70% of the time. Political pundits predicting definite outcomes perform worse than random guessing. Your brain toddler mistakes smooth thinking for correct thinking. When thoughts flow easily, it whispers, "You're brilliant." But fluency isn't accuracy. It's just good internal storytelling. Real expertise sounds like based on experience. Probably X, but could be Y if Z happens. Fake expertise. Brain toddler in a lab coat. Definitely X. No question. Anyone who disagrees is wrong. The cure? Replace "I'm certain" with "I'm 70% confident." Watch brain toddler squirm at admitting uncertainty. New information arrives? Update your confidence instead of defending it. Can't explain why you're certain? That's not expertise. That's ego. True experts know what they don't know. Brain toddlers think they know everything. Section 10. When fear writes the headlines. Emergency room nurse Sophia sees car accidents every shift. Brutal ones. Life-changing ones. But after her cousin dies from a bee sting, she becomes terrified of bees while still driving to work unfazed. Her brain toddler doesn't understand statistics. It understands drama. Car accidents are routine, boring. Bee stings killed family. Oscar-worthy tragedy. Welcome to availability bias, where your brain toddler confuses easy to remember with likely to happen. This is why you fear sharks, 1 in 4 million chance. But not ladders, 36,000 ER visits yearly. Why one news story about child abduction makes you hover over your kids while ignoring the real danger, car seats installed incorrectly. Why your friend's startup success makes you feel like a failure, though 90% of startups fail. Your brain toddler is a terrible film critic who only remembers the most dramatic scenes. Plane crash on news? Flying is death. Never mind you drove to airport, 100x more dangerous. Friend gets food poisoning? That restaurant is poison. Ignore the thousands who ate there fine. Social media makes it worse. Everyone posts their highlights, promotion, not their normal. Tuesday was boring. Your brain toddler sees this and creates horror story, everyone's succeeding except me. Reality. Everyone's brain toddler is having the same meltdown scrolling through your highlights. The recalibration. When brain toddler panics about something, Google actual statistics. Screenshot them. Next time it screams about sharks, planes, strangers, show receipts. Fear shrinks when you add math. Section 11. The question behind the question. Should I go back to school? Anna asked her friends. But her brain toddler heard a different question. Will this make me look successful? So she enrolled in an expensive MBA program she didn't need, for a career change she didn't want, because brain toddler answered the wrong question with total confidence. This is substitution, your mind's laziest trick where hard questions get secretly replaced with easy ones. Is this relationship right for me? Becomes, do I hate being alone? Should I take this job? Becomes, is the salary higher? Am I ready for kids? Becomes, do babies look cute on Instagram? Your brain toddler panics at complexity, so it finds a simpler, emotion-based question and answers that instead. Like a student who can't solve the math problem so answers a different one they know. Dating apps are substitution paradise. Are we compatible life partners? Becomes nice photos? Career decisions get hijacked. Will this fulfill me? Becomes, will it impress my parents? Health choices get simplified. What would improve my well-being? Becomes, what did that influencer recommend? The tell? Strong emotions about the decision. Real analysis feels boring. If you're excited or anxious, brain toddler probably substituted. The defense write the actual question in big letters. Stare at it. Answer that question, not the easier one brain toddler prefers. When you feel certain quickly, ask, what question did I actually answer? The gap between intended and actual? That's where life goes off track. Section 12. Your need for a clean story. 2 facts about your new neighbor. They play music after 10 p.m. and they drive a loud motorcycle. Your brain toddler immediately writes their full biography, inconsiderate rebel who doesn't care about anyone. Probably parties constantly, definitely going to be a problem. But you don't know they're a night shift nurse who decompresses with quiet classical music. The motorcycle is their only transportation after their car died. They volunteer at the elderly center every weekend. They're anxious about bothering neighbors, but work makes normal hours impossible. Your brain toddler took 2 dots and drew an entire constellation. This is your mind's desperate need for coherence, where making sense matters more than making accurate. Brain toddler hates incomplete pictures, like a puzzle with missing pieces, so it invents what's missing. See someone well-dressed at a food bank? Can't compute successful and struggling, so picks one either pretending to be poor or riches to rags story. Your brain literally edits out complexity to maintain simple narratives. Coworker who's brilliant but disorganized? Brain toddler can't hold both, so depending on the day, they're either genius or disaster. The addiction to coherence makes you miss reality's contradictions. People can be kind and selfish, smart and make dumb choices, love you and hurt you. But brain toddler wants Disney villains and heroes, not complex humans. The antidote? Practice holding contradictions. They're good at X and bad at Y. Watch brain toddler struggle with the and. That discomfort? That's reality trying to enter your oversimplified world. Section 13. The professional lottery. Maya's daughter needed therapy. 3 child psychologists. Same concerns. Wildly different approaches. Dr. A clear ADHD. Medication necessary. Dr. B anxiety disorder. Talk therapy only. Dr. C normal developmental phase. No intervention needed. Each supremely confident. Each with identical credentials. Each charging $200 hour to disagree completely. This isn't about bad experts. It's about noise. The random variance in professional judgment that nobody talks about. Same psychologist on different days might give different diagnoses depending on their last patient, contrast effect, their energy level, their own child's behavior that morning, even the weather. Studies found judges give harsher sentences before lunch. Doctors order more tests at the end of shifts. Teachers grade the same essay differently based on what they graded before. Your outcome depends less on your situation and more on when you caught the expert. We pretend expertise means consistency. Reality? Even experts are humans with brain toddlers wearing lab coats. The same financial advisor who says aggressive growth on optimistic Monday might recommend conservative portfolio on worried Friday. What to do? Never trust one expert's certainty. Get multiple opinions and look for patterns, not outliers. Time important consultations strategically. After lunch, midweek, good weather. Get it in writing. Reduces emotional noise. Remember, the expert's confidence level doesn't correlate with accuracy. Often inversely. The ones who admit uncertainty? They're the ones who understand their own brain toddler. Section 14. The humbling math of success. Emma's food blog exploded. One recipe went viral, 2 million views, featured on morning shows, book deal offers pouring in. I've cracked the code, her brain toddler announced, wearing a tiny chef's hat. She quit her job, launched premium courses, hired staff. Next recipe? 500 views. The one after? 200. 6 months later, she's broke and confused. But I did everything the same. Emma didn't lose her talent. She experienced regression to the mean, the universe's way of reminding brain toddlers that exceptional is temporary. When you perform amazingly, the next result will probably be worse. When you perform terribly, the next will probably be better. Not because you changed, because extreme results include luck, and luck is just visiting. First dates are regression's playground, perfect chemistry. New person energy plus trying hard plus good mood alignment becomes normal interaction, regular humans being regular. Brain toddler. The magic died. No, statistics happened. This creates expensive mistakes everywhere. Employee has amazing month. Boss praises them. Next month normal. Boss thinks praise doesn't work. Student fails test. Parent punishes. Next test better. Parent thinks punishment works. Both were heading toward average anyway. Your best day ever included perfect sleep, no traffic, good news, everyone else's good mood, random timing victories. Trying to recreate it is like trying to re-win lottery with same numbers. The wisdom? Track averages, not outliers. Your real skill level is the boring middle, not the exciting peaks or devastating valleys. When amazing happens, enjoy it, but don't move there. When terrible happens, endure it, but don't build your identity there. Section 15. The day everything lined up. Tuesday morning. Parent-teacher conference about my son's behavioral issues. I walked in defensive, exhausted from a sleepless night, hungry because I skipped breakfast, and triggered because my own parents never believed teachers over me. The teacher started with, "We need to talk about Marcus," and my brain toddler went full protective parent mode. Here we go again. Another teacher who doesn't understand creative kids. Probably wants to medicate him into compliance. Not my child, I argued, dismissed her concerns, made excuses, left feeling victorious. Brain toddler. We showed her. Nobody messes with our kid. 2 weeks later, different circumstances. Full night's sleep, good breakfast, calm morning. Same teacher called, "Can we revisit our conversation about Marcus?" This time I heard dedicated professional, specific observations, genuine care for my child, strategies that could help, patterns I'd been missing at home. Same teacher, same concerns, completely different reception because my brain toddler wasn't hungry, tired, and defensive. We created a plan that transformed my son's school experience. But here's what haunts me. How many other conversations have I ruined because my brain toddler was hangry? How many relationships, opportunities, and insights have I missed because I thought I was being rational when I was really just being influenced by my blood sugar? Now, before any important conversation, I do the state check fed, rested, triggered by something unrelated. If not, I postpone or at least warn I'm not at my best. So help me hear you correctly. Those conditions you think don't matter? They're writing the script of your life. Section 16. When groups make it worse. The PTA meeting started reasonably, discussing fundraiser options for new playground equipment. Then Jennifer, the influential mom everyone wants to impress, suggested, "What if we do a Vegas casino night? Parents only, open bar, professional dealers." Concerned silence. A few worried glances. But Jennifer seemed so confident. Mark tentatively supported it. Could be different. Others nodded. Sophisticated. Parents need fun too. Within minutes, the group convinced themselves that gambling and alcohol at an elementary school fundraiser was brilliant. 3 people privately thought it was terrible but said nothing, assuming everyone else loved it. This is groupthink. When brain toddlers form a mob and get exponentially dumber, individual intelligence doesn't add up in groups. It averages down. Smart people together can make astoundingly bad decisions because nobody wants to be the dissenter. Everyone assumes others know something they don't. Social dynamics override logic. Brain toddlers want group approval more than good outcomes. The casino night was a disaster. Complaints, newspaper coverage, principal nearly fired. In the aftermath, everyone admitted they'd had doubts. Why didn't you speak up? I thought everyone else wanted it. The antidote? Anonymous input before group discussion. Assign a devil's advocate. Normalize phrases like, "This might be unpopular, but..." Leaders should speak last, not first. And remember, when everyone agrees too quickly, that's not consensus. That's brain toddlers performing synchronized swimming. Real wisdom includes disagreement. Section 17. The Identity Trap. I'm just not a morning person, Rachel said for the 1,000th time, hitting snooze at 6 a.m. Her brain toddler nodded sagely. Exactly. We're night owls. Always have been. It's who we are. But was it? Or had Rachel just told this story so many times it became true? Started in college. Staying up late felt rebellious, adult, creative. I do my best work at night. 20 years later, she's exhausted, missing morning opportunities, living on coffee but still clinging to an identity that stopped serving her a decade ago. This is the most dangerous bias, the story your brain toddler tells about who you are. I'm bad with money. I'm not athletic. I always procrastinate. I can't do math. These aren't descriptions. They're prescriptions. Your brain toddler ensures you live down to them. When Rachel tried waking early, brain toddler panicked. But we're not morning people. This is wrong. So she'd stay up late to prove it. Wake up tired. Confirm the story. The cycle feeds itself. But stories can be rewritten. Rachel started small. I used to struggle with mornings. I'm learning to appreciate quiet sunrises. Not I'm a morning person now. Just I'm learning. Brain toddler could handle evolution better than revolution. 6 months later, she watches sunrise with coffee, doing her best work before 9 a.m. Brain toddler adjusted. We're flexible about sleep schedules. The old story? Just a chapter, not the whole book. Every limiting belief you have about yourself is just brain toddler protecting an outdated identity. You can update the software anytime. Section 18. Your brain toddler grows up. I can't believe I used to think that way. Michael laughed, looking at his trading journal from 5 years ago. Pages of certainty, predictions, and sure things that all went wrong. My brain toddler was running a hedge fund, he said. But something had shifted. Not overnight. Brain toddlers don't mature that fast. Through awareness, practice, and many humbling moments, Michael learned to recognize when his inner toddler grabbed the controls. Now, when he feels that familiar surge of certainty about a decision, he pauses. Hello, overconfidence. Thanks for the input. Let me check some facts. When FOMO strikes, he names it brain toddler wants the shiny thing. Let's wait 48 hours. When his mind creates elaborate stories from minimal data, he laughs, nice fan fiction, buddy. What do we actually know? This isn't about silencing your brain toddler. You need those quick instincts for survival. It's about becoming the loving parent to your inner child. Sometimes brain toddler is right danger, or this person feels safe. But now Michael knows the difference between wisdom and wearing a wizard hat. His relationships improved because he stopped building cases against people based on attribution bias. His finances stabilized because he recognized loss aversion and sunk costs. His anxiety decreased because he understood availability bias makes rare events feel likely. Most importantly, he rewrote his identity story. From I'm someone who makes impulsive decisions to I'm learning to pause and choose consciously. Brain toddler still lives in his head. Everyone's does. But now it's not driving the car unsupervised. It's in the back seat. Sometimes giving useful input, sometimes throwing tantrums, always part of the journey. You don't defeat your brain toddler. You don't outgrow it. You learn to love it, lead it, and occasionally let it pick the radio station. That's the real transformation. Not becoming perfectly rational, but becoming consciously human. Your biases aren't bugs. They're features that need updates. Your brain toddler isn't your enemy. It's your inner child trying to keep you safe with outdated tools. Every time you notice it taking control and gently redirect, that's growth. Every pause between impulse and action, that's wisdom. Every story you question, that's freedom. The journey isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. And once you see your brain toddler clearly, you can't unsee it. That's when everything changes. Not because you've conquered your mind, but because you've finally made friends with it, brain toddler included.